Hey folks, Ryan here from Mista Rau's Gaming, and it's great to be back finally. Yes. Oh, I took the month of May off to enjoy some good old quality family time. So I thought I'm going to get back into the content creation business with starting off this June with my recap of what happened all in the month of May. Spoiler alert, not a lot of gaming. I still have a few things that I am going to highlight that I did get to play in the month of May. But most importantly, I'm going to give you a little bit of an update of what did I actually do for the month of May and why was I away for so long. And that's because my family, we decided that the kids were going to get into a bunch of activities. My two boys, they are playing soccer this spring season. And there was a period of time there where we thought that they were not going to get to play soccer because they had no coaches available to run the teams. So the deadline was approaching. Finally, I decided I was going to step up. And so I decided I was going to coach my youngest son's under 7 soccer team, and I was going to coach my oldest boy's under 9 soccer team. So that has been keeping us very busy, as that is about 4 nights a week with practices and games. So that took up a good chunk of our time as well. My oldest boy was also started playing some flag football this season, and so that takes up another couple evenings in the during the week. So as you can already see, days are already filling up, and you know what, just because we didn't think we were busy enough, we were going to throw on some swimming lessons one night a week as well into this. So very busy. I decided, you know what, I am not going to try to push myself. I am just going to take a break from the content creation. I'm going to enjoy all of this time with my family, with my boys, and it has been an extraordinary experience, and I have loved every single minute of it. But I am itching to get back into the content creation side of things. I know I don't have a super huge channel, but I do thank everybody that has managed to put a like on a video, subscribe to the channel, has hit that notification bell so that they do get engaged with the content like this one when it goes on to the YouTube land. Very much appreciate everybody and sticking with me, and hopefully we can get back into the regular swing of things. Part of this also month of May is that I have also stepped away from my social media quite a bit. And do you know what? Stepping away from social media has done wonders for my mental health, and just being able just to step away and enjoy life. The only thing that I still engage in, and I wasn't as involved with it this past month, I was still kind of taking a little bit of break from social media, but the one thing that I do really enjoy is the Discord community over on the Tabletop Express Discord server. There is a link in the description of this video if you would like to join that lovely server. There is a bunch of wonderful gamers, and it is such a welcoming community. Definitely go check them out. The gentlemen over there at the Tabletop Express, they are absolutely wonderful, and I thank them from the bottom of my heart for giving me a space on Discord to promote and chat, to promote my materials and engage with their lovely community, which has also become my community, which is all just one huge big community, and I love them for that. I think I will get back a little bit to the social media things. That Discord thing is going to be my main thing that I'm going to be hanging around on. I do have a Instagram account that I will start probably once I start playing games again on a more regular basis. I will start posting more pictures and content over there on Instagram. It's just at Mista Rau Gaming. I do have a Blue Sky account and a Threads account. I am not very active on those as well. The best that I do is probably just promote when material and content is coming out onto this channel. So if you're on those channels, you can follow me. You can get caught up to date on those. Though the best way to stay up to date with me is on this channel. You can hit the notification bell so you get notified things I like posting in the community section as well, just kind of posting little updates every now and then. But do follow me on my Instagram account. I will be posting stuff really regularly on there. And I also have a Facebook page as well. You can follow me there. Everything is at Mr. Rau Gaming. You can see it in the the corner, the very corner. Where is it? There, down here, down there. Oh, okay. So with that out of the way, that is a little bit of the channel update. Well, I guess the channel update would be that in the month of June, even though things are not slowing down for us, all of these activities are still continuing throughout the whole month of June. I'm still going to come back. I'm just not going to do my live streams. I like to do live streams. If you're new to the channel, I like to do live streams on Tuesday nights. I'll be playing something, engaging with the community, just because we still have an activity on Tuesday nights, and I don't get back here to the house like 8:30 my local time at night. And for a majority of my viewership, that is quite late into the evening already for them. So so I'm getting back here at 8:30. That's usually when I'm starting. I just usually can't just get here on time and get out. I'm just too tired at the end of it all. So live streams are still going to be on hold for the month of June, but I still have some regular content that is going to be coming out on Tuesdays and some Thursdays as well. So, but there is going to be a new video coming out at least every Tuesday for the month of June. I've got some playthroughs already pre-recorded and ready to go for the month of June, so please look forward to those. And I am in the midst of putting together a top 10 video. I put a feeler out there. It seems like top 10 videos do very well on YouTube. Maybe I'll try a couple of them. First one that's been voted for in the community section on this channel was they want to hear about solo games. I like playing solo games. That's usually all I play on Tuesday evenings. So I'll give you my current top 10 or just 10 solo games that I really, really enjoy above all of the rest. So that's going to be coming this month as well, as soon as I get that all put together. How about we switch on over to the game side of things, where I'm going to tell you a little bit about the games that came in to my collection over the month of May. Just because I wasn't producing content doesn't mean I'm getting ready to make more content or to even just enjoy games, because I am a board gamer and getting new games is still a high for me. And so a bunch of new things did come into my collection. So let's kick it off with, oh my gosh, one of my favorite games that I have enjoyed a lot of lately. Just got a brand new expansion released this month, and I can't wait to play it. That is the G.I. Joe deck building game Silent Interlude, which is a brand new expansion, and it is boasting that if you are playing multiplayer, it has a traitor, a hidden role mechanic inside of it. So I do want to try this multiplayer now. So I want to try that. I just want to try out that hidden role, hidden traitor possible mechanic that they're going to explore inside of this expansion. Then there's also a kind of like a new solo story thing where you can run through the story of Snake Eyes in this particular arc of G.I. Joe. The G.I. Joe deck building game is one of my favorite games that I have been playing in the past, and by all means, if there's a new solo thing that's coming out, I'm definitely going to try to get this in on the channel probably this summer for everybody, just because there's a few things ahead of the schedule just to get that. But yes, G.I. Joe Silent Interlude, that came into the collection. Really, really pumped for that one. Next thing that came into is just... Actually, I got a lot of expansions this past a little bit. The next one is the next cycle, or sorry, the next big box of Marvel Champions, which is Age of Apocalypse. Marvel Champions, probably for a lot of people, doesn't need any introduction, but it is a living card game from Fantasy Flight Games, where they are just regularly releasing new content all of the time. That seems like there's just an infinite amount of content for this game at this point. This is the next big box expansion, has 2 new playable characters, Magic and Bishop. and we are going to be taking on the likes of Apocalypse himself in the X-Men universe and all of the lovely minions that he has, like his horsemen and a whole bunch of other things. So I'm really excited to start. As you can kind of see, the shiny has not been ripped off of this as of late. It is fairly new, so I haven't actually managed to crack it open yet. Next thing is another set of expansions. This was a Kickstarter that came in. And every time these expansions come in, they actually, as the time of this recording, they just finished up another Kickstarter for the next set of expansions. And I always forget about this one until the expansions arrive. And I'm like, oh, right, I got to get back to that game again. And that is Thunderstone Quest by AEG and Mike Elliott. So 2 new quests came in from that Kickstarter. We got the Raging Seas expansion box and the Ancient Adversaries expansion box, which grabs you many more cards. What is this one? About 376 new cards in each of these quests to add into your Thunderstone Quest experience. I've got everything for Thunderstone Quest, and I always forget how much I enjoy this game because I'll play through these expansion boxes, and then usually I don't touch it again until the next set of expansions come out. And I got to really change that because I really do enjoy Thunderstone Quest. I like it in the competitive mode. There is a kind of like a solo cooperative mode to that as well. It's called Barricades. I gotta get that. I realized I've been in this YouTube land for a couple years now, and I don't think I've played Thunderstone Quest once on this channel. That's gonna have to change relatively quickly. I think with these new expansion boxes, you're not gonna miss out. If I don't have to play them in order, you're gonna get the full Thunderstone experience, even if I jump into like a quest later on. There's no like linearity to the quests. Couple more things that did come in. I do have a copy now of Gloomhaven Buttons and Bugs, the very tiny version of Gloomhaven. And I've already played through the first couple of scenarios on it this month, and they did a fantastic job capturing the Gloomhaven feel. The card play, the way that enemies move around the board, the way that you move around the board, the way that you play your cards and attack. They captured all of those things inside of this little solo only. You can only play this one player Gloomhaven experience. And the great thing about it is that a scenario only takes like 15 to 20 minutes to play. Granted that if you really are already familiar with Gloomhaven and you're not learning the ropes right off the bat here, if you're just learning the ropes, it's probably going to take you a little bit longer because you're probably not familiar with that whole interaction of how the top half of one card plays, and then you have to play the bottom half of another card. But the best thing is that you're just the one player. You can go for it. It's actually very good. I am very impressed with how, Nikki Valens, how they managed to create this wonderful little product. I'm very impressed with it. Gloomhaven Buttons and Bugs, probably going to try to get some of those playthroughs this summer as well. And another new thing that came in, and I can't wait, because you can still see that the shiny is all over this particular box, and that is Stone Spine Architects from the lovely folks there at Thunderworks Games. Jordy Allen is the designer, and of course this is set in that world of like cartographers and role player and all of their other fun things that they have going on at Thunderworks. I love the universe that they're creating. I don't own many of the other things. I do own cartographers, and now I own Stone Spine Architects. I don't have anything else in this universe, though a lot of it does very much intrigue me. So I can't wait for this one. It's kind of like a tableau builder where you're kind of building out a dungeon, and if you lay out your dungeon in certain ways, you can score your victory points and try to build the best dungeon possible. So I'm really looking forward to exploring this game, both multiplayer, and I think it has a solo mode as well. So that means it might get onto the channel at some point. So those are the things that came in. Oh my goodness, it does seem like a lot. There is another game that came into my collection, but that is going to be one of my feature games of one of the 5 games that I want to highlight, my highlights of this particular month. So let's hop on over to that right now. So I did manage to get a few games played this month, and I am very stoked to talk about them because they are my highlights. These are 5 games. I'm not going to say they're my top 5, but they are, because I'm not going to rank them at all. But these are 5 games that I had fantastic experiences playing this month. One of them, the very first one I'm going to highlight here, is a digital game, and I'm only highlighting it as a digital version. Because I can't get my hands on a physical copy as of yet. The online shops here in Canada, I guess, brought in a very limited quantity of it. It's been sold out, and so I'm just waiting for some restocks or a reprint or maybe a North American publisher to pick it up and make it more readily available. The game I am talking about here is Dracula versus Van Helsing, and I managed to get this played over on Board Game Arena. Had many wonderful games with a community member, Dan Nixon. Showed me this game and I fell in love with it. The first couple games, I really had no idea what was actually happening. That's my fault because I never actually read the rules to the game. So I was actually just kind of just playing around, and finally I actually just, you know what? Okay, I have to sit down and read the rules just to kind of do some clarifications. And now it makes 100% sense, and it's much more clever and fantastic than I originally could have thought it was. Essentially, it's a card-based game where one player is playing as Dracula, one person is playing as Van Helsing. You are using the same deck of cards, and the cards are in 4 different suits, and there are 8 different values of these cards. And there's going to be kind of like a trick-taking element to this game because the suits are ranked, and it's random at the very start of the game, but there are ways to change the ranking of these suits, and that is a very crucial piece of the puzzle as Van Helsing is trying to defeat Dracula by winning columns. I'll call them columns because you'll be laying out your cards in columns and swapping them in and out as you draw cards from the deck. So you're going to be competing in columns, hopefully trying to, have the highest value if you have the same suit, or have the highest value of a higher, or just have a card of a higher suit played in that column before, the round ends. Oh, and I didn't mention that each of the different values allow you to do something when they are discarded, either from the card that you've drawn or the card that you discarded in one of your columns. You actually get to trigger some sort of game ability, and so that could be changing the suits, that could be revealing cards on your opponent's side, swapping cards with your opponent's side, and it's just so clever. And what I'm also trying to say is that the trigger of the end of the game is that when you start comparing the columns, if Dracula wins a column, that column is actually associated with a little board that's in between the 2 players, and there are villagers and there are vampires. Dracula is trying to convert those villagers into vampires, and if he manages to convert all the players or all of the villagers into vampires in one particular section, in just one section, he has won the game. Van Helsing, though, when he wins a particular column, he's going to deal a point of damage to Dracula. And if Dracula takes 15 points of damage over the course of a game, he is going to lose, and Van Helsing will win. It is great. It's fantastic. I highly recommend you go check this one out, and I can't wait to get my hands on a actual physical copy of this one. It's published by Mandu Games. And I didn't mention the designers. The designers are Maxime Ramberg and Theo Revere. Can't wait to get my hands on this one. I want to actually get an actual physical copy because it is very clever. Dracula versus Van Helsing. If you would like to play on Board Game Arena, I'm just Mista Rau on Board Game Arena. Hit me up. I will join, and I'll play any game I'll definitely play this one with you at any particular time. It's a 2-player only if I'd never mentioned that one. Dracula versus Van Helsing. Next game I'm going to highlight is one of my cool, clever games. There were some game nights at my local game store, Amazing Stories. And they had a couple game nights this month, and one of those game nights, good friends of the show Board on the Air. They are a local podcast from Saskatoon area here. If you haven't checked them out, by all means, they're on all your podcasting platforms. They've been going strong for a few seasons now, and they release something new every week. They hosted a game night, and it was all focused around cooperative games. So I finally managed to get another game in of Unmatched Adventures, Tales to Amaze. I don't know. I really love this game. I've started falling in love with the Unmatched series. I do not own a lot of the content. I own all of the Marvel sets because, hey, it's Marvel. Gotta love it. So I own those, and now I own this one, and I've played this on the channel before. I did a live stream with this one. Go definitely check that one out. But I managed to get a 3-player game of this one on that particular evening. And this actually solidified that I actually love this game at 3 players. Solo only, like true solo, just one character against either Mothman or the Martian aliens. It feels way too easy. I don't know. There has to be something that I'm missing in the true solo. I don't think that I'm missing anything in the true solo, but it just feels way too easy. And same thing kind of with 2 players. It still feels kind of easy on the 2-player mode, but I've found now that at the 3-player count might be my sweet spot for this particular game, because it came actually down to the wire for us, and we had just lost against Mothman, and the 3 baddies that we had to pick, because you have to pick some baddies based on the number of players in the game. And we had lost by, I believe, 1 turn. If we got 1 more turn, I think we would have managed to take out Mothman and on that particular game. But Unmatched, if you're not familiar with that, it's a card-based miniatures game, and there are very simple actions to take, and you are constantly just either beating each other up or defending. You're constantly playing your cards or trying to figure out what's the best time to play your cards, and it's phenomenal. I really, really enjoy it. I know that the co-op solo box here, Tales to Amaze, has gotten some lukewarm reviews. It's either here you like it or you don't like it. I actually really enjoy it. I know it's not the most challenging of cooperative and solo games out there. I think that 3-player count is just, I think, a really, really good player count for this one. And yeah. And I forgot to mention that this is published by Restoration Games, and it's designed by Jason Hager and Darren Reckner. It's great. Check it out, especially if you're a big fan of Unmatched and you haven't got into Tales to Amaze yet. You have to check it out. It does come with 4 characters that you can play from the box. We played with the characters from the Tales to Amaze. We didn't grab any characters from other sets. We played with the ones that came inside this box. I got to play Nicholas Tesla for the very first time, and he had some really fun mechanics because he's got these coils that need to be charged, and if you have charged coils, every now and then you can deal some extra damage to your opponents, and in this case, the baddies on the board. And there's cards in his deck that, if depending on how many coils you have charged, you can do extra effects when those cards are played. I thought it was a really neat. He could deal some really big damage, and he could just pull off some really crazy maneuvers. I liked it. Unmatched, Tales to Amaze, fantastic game. Got to play it. It's another highlight of mine. Next one that I'm going to highlight is another card game. I got a lot of card games played this month. I can't lie, because they're very snappy. They're very quick. And this game I have enjoyed at every single player count that I could possibly play this at. It's great at 2. It's great at 3. It's great at 4. It's currently published here in North America by Pandasaurus Games, and that is Knarr from Thomas DuPont. And this is another great little card game. Essentially, you are going to be collecting sets of Vikings, and there are many different suits. How many different suits are there? Five different suits of Vikings, and they all have some sort of effect at the very top of their card. You just get that effect every time that you play down the card. And if I play down, say, a red Viking, I'm going to get its effect at the top of the card. And if I play down another red Viking on a later turn, I'm actually going to get both cards' effects. And if I play down another red Viking card, and then after that one, I'm going to get all three effects. So there's kind of like a little bit of chaining happening. And eventually you're collecting all of these Viking in these different suits, hopefully to send them off on voyages. There's these voyages cards up at the very top, or they call them exploration. I can't remember exactly what they called. Or the boat cards that if you have a certain set of Vikings, you can cash them in. You can send them out on the voyage and you get some either victory points or you get some bonuses. But more importantly, the card then tucks at the top of your little tiny player board, and now you can spend another resource, which I just refer to them as bracelets. I think that's what they're referred to as in the game, and depending on how many bracelets depends on how many columns that you get to trigger from your little voyages bonuses. And this ends up being a race to 40 victory points. And as once somebody has crossed 40 victory points, that is to the trigger of the end of the game. And whoever has the most victory points at that stage is going to be the winner. Super clever card game. Doesn't overstay its welcome. Everybody that I've taught this game to and I've played with have all really enjoyed it, and they can't wait to get their own hands on these copies. As of right now here in Saskatoon, I believe it is out of stock. People are trying to get it back into stock, and for good reason. Knarr is a fantastic little card game. Well, it comes in a little box, but it has a big gameplay implications. It's super good. That's another one that I got to play this month, and that's a highlight of my month. And the next highlight, the second, this is my fourth game now, and I'm going to highlight another card game. Right now it's published. The version I have is published by Catch Up Games, and I believe I got some notifications that also Pandasaurus Games is going to be bringing this one into North America once it gets restocked, and that is Faraway, which is a great little card game. It plays super quick. What do they advertise on the back here? They advertise that this game takes about 25 minutes, and that's probably very accurate. Essentially, in Faraway, you are going to be drafting 8 cards in front of you, and you're going to line them up from left to right, from card number 1 through card number 8. You're going to line them all up as you are playing them, and they have little numerical values on them. If you are able to play them in ascending order, you will actually be able to collect yourself some bonus cards. I believe they refer to them as treasure cards. And these treasure cards just provide you with icons because it's essentially a set collecting game at the end of the day. But you only score your sets in the reverse order that you've played your cards. Yeah, this one broke my brain the first time that I ever played it, and now it breaks everybody's brains the very first time that I play it. But luckily it plays quick, so we can play another game right after it. You play your cards 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, but then you're going to score your cards 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, which means if you want to actually score card number 8, it needs to have some sort of prerequisites before it, but there's no cards before it actually. It's like the first card in the land. Kind of what they suggest you do is you kind of flip all your cards face down and you start revealing your cards starting from the right. And then as you reveal the cards, you will score them based on how many icons you can see and cards that you can, the cards that have been played. It's really neat. And people found that it's like, oh, this game's actually not that bad. And then we start doing the scoring. They're like, oh, I can't actually score anything because all the cards I thought were going to score are face down now. And we're going in the opposite order. Really interesting thing that's going on. So that's Faraway. I forgot to mention, designed by Johannes Gope and Corten Labrat. And again, Catch Up Games is the version that I have, but I believe it's coming from Pandasaurus Games in North America. Correct me if I am wrong. Finally, the last game that I played in May here. May. Oh my gosh, I'm trying. And actually, just as I'm recording this, we just played this again with my wife and I just before I recorded this. And that is Let's Go to Japan from Josh Wood and AEG, Alderac Entertainment Group. And this game is so good. I got to play it for the first time in March at Dice Tower West, taught by Amanda Panda from over on Twitch. And Josh Wood was actually there as well, answering our questions and talking to us about Let's Go to Japan and some of the design choices that were made. And essentially, this is also a very card-based game. This one has a much larger footprint than any of the other games that we have played. But luckily, the setup is actually not too bad, and the gameplay actually plays very, very quickly. It says 45 minutes on the side of the box, and you know what? That is most likely pretty accurate, even at all of the different player counts that you can play this as, because lots of the time it's simultaneous card selection. You're drawing cards, and then you're going to be playing cards into a tableau in front of you, and essentially you're planning out a trip to Japan. And you're going to play 3 activities per day. You don't have to play them in order, but you are going to eventually play 3 activities per day, with the card that's on top having some sort of highlight feature, which says, "Hey, if you've done certain things in your trip before you've gotten to that card, you're going to score some victory points." And really, what they're looking for there, that every card has some sort of tag feature on it, whether it's like shopping or going and visiting temples or having conversations with people or eating some food. Lots of different things that could happen, and if you've done certain amount of those things before you got to that, you need to get some victory points. So the whole part of the planning of the game and the strategy of the game is, where do I place these activities? And I have to make sure that if I want to score that, I got to get those tags before it. It's kind of like the opposite of Faraway. Faraway goes in the reverse order. Let's Go to Japan just kind of goes in the traditional left to right order. And yeah, and then there's a thing, because there's 2 different types of cards in the game. There's Tokyo locations and there's Kyoto locations. And if you want to go from Tokyo to Kyoto on a certain day, you actually need to have a train ticket in order to be able to go between the 2 cities. And there's ways that you can acquire what they call luxury train tokens. They give you positive points. It's positive experience for going between Tokyo and Kyoto. But if you don't accumulate those, it's actually worth negative points, because you're kind of stressing yourself out going back and forth between the 2 cities as much as often as you are. Love the game. The scoring at the end of the game, like going through your trip, sometimes takes just as long as actually playing out all of the cards in the game. I thought that was actually quite clever. It's kind of like 2 different versions, 2 different things that are happening in that game. But Let's Go to Japan. It's fantastic. It's great. I believe it's just getting its retail release just at the end of this month. I managed to get a copy from the AEG themselves, from kind of like their online web store. It was a ding and dent copy because it has a big slit. It's got a big, crack in the box kind of thing. But the components inside are all in great shape. Fantastic. Can't complain. Let's Go to Japan. If you manage to get yourself, the retail version of this game, because the only really big difference is that it's going to have cardboard components. This one has kind of like screen printed wooden components. You're going to get the exact same gameplay experience with just those cardboard tokens. It's great. It's fantastic. I really, really enjoyed it. This is one that's going to come out often, regularly, again and again. And there is going to be a full, it has a solo mode to it, and there is going to be a full solo playthrough coming out on my channel. I believe this week. I have got it planned to come out on Tuesday. Don't quote me on that. I guess it's now that I've said it, I'm gonna have to. If it's on Thursday, I'm gonna move it to Tuesday. Let's Go to Japan solo playthrough coming out on Tuesday. Let's just put it on that one. Let's put it on the map. If that's not anything behind the scenes, I'll make the switch. And that's what I've been playing, and that's what's happened in the month of May. That's my quick little update. What's coming to my collection? What did I get to play? And now I want to hear from you. Make comments Make comments on this video. What were your highlighted gameplays of the month of May? What came into your collections across the month of May? Do you like this format of this little video at the beginning of the month, recapping the previous month? Let me know. I'm always interested. I'm interested to hear what people think about content in YouTube land, and especially in the board gaming world. Well, folks, I am Ryan of Mista Rau Gaming, and I am going to leave you, and I hope you enjoy the content that is coming onto this channel this month of June. And as always, thank you for joining me on this lovely journey. And as always, thanks for watching, y'all. Cheers.